and Fedor was the hardest. That motherfucker never changed his expression. He was beating people.
He's always the underdog. He's always the smallest guy, and he always comes out victorious.
Few fantasy matchups in combat sports stir debate quite like this one. Picture the cage door closing, and on one side stands Daniel Cormier at his absolute best, the Olympic wrestler turned two-division UFC champion who bulldozed through bigger men with grit, precision, and an almost stubborn refusal to quit. Across from him is Fedor Emelianenko in his prime, the last emperor of pride, a man who carried the aura of invincibility and delivered chaos with frightening calm. This isn't just two great fighters squaring off. It's a clash of eras, a collision of philosophies, and a test of which style reigns supreme when the stakes are at their highest. It is the irresistible force meeting the immovable object, and fans across the globe can't help but imagine what would have unfolded had these two titans truly shared a cage. Now let's first talk about Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier's story is already the stuff of legend. At first glance, he didn't look like the stereotypical heavyweight champion. Shorter, stockier, and giving up reach to almost every opponent he faced, Cormier defied the visual expectations of dominance. But underneath the frame was an Olympic-level wrestling pedigree and a motor that simply didn't slow down. What he lacked in size, he made up for with leverage, timing, and an uncanny ability to control the fight wherever it went. In Strikeforce, we watched him dismantle Josh Barnett, a man with a huge size advantage, but tossing him around with suplexes and grinding him down with relentless pressure. In the UFC, his resume grew even deeper. Out-wrestling giants like Frank Mir, breaking down heavy hitters like Anthony Rumble Johnson, and even becoming the second-ever double champion by holding both the light heavyweight and heavyweight belts. Cormier's entire career was built on proving that discipline, pace, and fundamentals could topple the so-called monsters of the division. Then there's Fedor, the enigma. To call him a champion doesn't quite capture it. He was an institution in himself. In his prime, Fedor Emelianenko represented inevitability. For nearly a decade, no man could solve him. He fought everyone. Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, the best heavyweight grappler of his generation, Miracle Crow Cop, one of the deadliest kickboxers to ever enter an MMA ring, Mark Coleman and Kevin Randleman, both ferocious wrestlers, and he beat them all, often in dramatic fashion. Against Randleman, he survived being spiked on his head with a suplex that would have ended the night for almost anyone else, only to calmly submit him seconds later. Against Crow Cop, he walked through head kicks and combinations, pressing forward and delivering a masterclass in composure under fire. What defined Fedor wasn't just his wins, but the way he won. His calm stare before the storm, his sudden blitzes of speed, and his ability to transition seamlessly between striking and grappling created the aura of a man untouchable by the laws of fighting physics.
When we imagine these two colliding, the styles clash in a way that feels like a myth. Daniel Cormier thrived in the clinch. He wasn't interested in playing the long-range striking game. Instead, he closed distance, forced opponents against the cage, and chipped away with short uppercuts, hooks, and shoulder pressure. He turned fights into grinds, slowly draining the gas tank of anyone standing across from him. Fedor, on the other hand, thrived in chaos. He didn't need much space to end a fight. His explosive overhand right could land in the blink of an eye, and his blitzes came in unpredictable flurries. And if the fight hit the mat, his combat sambo background gave him lethal submissions from almost any position. It's control versus volatility. Cormier wants order, a fight on his terms, and a steady, drowning pace. Fedor wants entropy, moments of wild scrambles, split-second openings, and the kind of exchanges where one mistake ends everything. Imagine the opening round. Cormier enters low, hands ready to parry and push forward, looking to close distance quickly. He doesn't want to give Fedor the time or space to settle into rhythm. But Fedor, as always, is patient. He circles, calm and unreadable, waiting to pounce. Suddenly, in a flash, Fedor unleashes one of his trademark blitzes, a flurry of hooks and an overhand right. The crowd gasps. It's the same speed that crushed giants in Pride. The shot connects. But here's the twist. Daniel Cormier had one of the most durable chins in heavyweight history. He absorbed bombs from Stipe Miocic, Anthony Johnson, and even a prime Roy Nelson, who was notorious for knockout power. Unlike many of Fedor's past opponents, Cormier doesn't crumble. He eats the shot, resets, and keeps pushing forward. And in that moment, the aura of inevitability meets a wall of resistance. From there, the fight becomes a battle of attrition. Cormier thrives in these spaces, grinding, clinching, dirty boxing. Every second in the clinch isn't just physical, it's psychological. Opponents realize they're being smothered, their strength is fading, and there's no space to breathe. Fedor, though explosive, was never truly tested across 5 grueling rounds against a fighter who could maintain a suffocating pace. By the second or third round, Cormier's tactics begin to take effect. His dirty boxing lands clean, his short uppercuts snap Fedor's head back, and every failed takedown attempt still forces Fedor to carry his weight. Slowly, the Russian legend begins to tire, and in those moments, Cormier's game becomes more effective. But that danger, Fedor's unpredictability, never disappears. Even as the rounds wear on, the last emperor always carried a fight-ending weapon. He could snatch an armbar from the bottom in an instant. He could throw a quick left hook, turning a clinch break, and change the entire fight in 1 second. That was the terror of Fedor in his prime. Even if you controlled him for 15 minutes, he only needed a heartbeat to flip the narrative. This means Cormier couldn't simply coast or relax. Against Fedor, there is no safe zone. Every second carried the risk of sudden disaster.
So who truly wins? The answer depends on which lens you view the fight through. In the opening exchanges with both men fresh, Fedor's speed, unpredictability, and explosive striking give him the edge. Against a smaller heavyweight, his bursts could land early and decisively. But the longer the fight drags on, the more the balance tilts toward Cormier. His durability, his pace, and his ability to grind opponents into exhaustion would eventually chip away at Fedor's explosiveness. Cormier was not just a wrestler. He was a tactician who adapted mid-fight, found rhythms, and wore men down until they broke. Fedor, while brilliant, thrived on seizing moments. If those moments never came, Cormier's grinding control might have drowned the chaos. This is what makes the debate eternal. On one side, you have Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor, whose aura and explosiveness defined an entire era of heavyweights. On the other, Daniel Cormier, the blue-collar grinder turned double champion, who proved that fundamentals and relentless willpower could topple anyone. Whether you lean towards Fedor's speed and cold-blooded precision or Cormier's relentless pace and grit, the truth is simple. This fight, had it ever happened, would stand as one of the most fascinating tests of greatness the sport has ever imagined. Now let me know what you think. Would Fedor's speed and cold-blooded precision have written another legendary chapter? Or would Cormier's relentless pace and grit have dragged the last emperor into deep waters no one else had ever taken him? Drop your prediction down in the comment section. And be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Catch y'all in the next video.